What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Klamtucky Bourbon, boys. We have cracked the code. We have a two-parter for you today.
It's amazing what happens when you follow directions.
It is. It is. And I have to say, follow directions. I'll give it the fresh juice, too.
Yeah, that helps. That makes
Because we are still not 100% correct on this, but
it depends on the opinion. Actually, this says fall into the realm of correct ingredients.
it's delicious.
So a few weeks back, we did a paper plane, and I was misinformed and was told I could use some Luxardo Maraschino juice, if you want to call it that, in place of the Amaro Nonino that our local lounge uses. That was an absolute lie, and if you watch the program, you can tell. And we did our best to put on a good face, but that was an absolute.
Yeah, there's no way we could have fixed that. We
Yeah.
took like 7 takes, and what we had just did, no.
It was just not good.
Nope.
So, Amaro Nonino is what our buddy who owns the local lounge uses. That is really hard to come by here in this area. He buys it by the case, and when it shows up, he keeps it. Thanks, Jared, but we love you, buddy. So, a very, very good second choice is Amaro Montenegro, which is what we got here. And that works very well. It's a great liqueur, and it fits the cocktail perfectly. But so the first time, I'll be the first to admit I'm a little bit of a lazy bartender. We'll agree on that, I believe. I am. He's being nice. So I use the
Today is delicious, sir. Today's
fresh lemon juice that you get at the grocery store in a little bottle, and okay, so it's
real lemon.
real lemon.
Real lemon.
Lemon juice. And they were decent. It tasted pretty good. But Mr. Connoisseur over here says, hey, better be better with fresh squeezed real lemons.
Sorry?
Have at it, Chief. So he squeezed a bunch of lemons, and we threw it in the mixer, and lo and behold, guess what? He's right. You can't go wrong with fresh squeezed anything, in my opinion.
Peaches?
Peaches. So, anyway, so this is the latest iteration of our paper plane per proper ingredients and mixing, and it's pretty darn good. I have to say, I think I brought it up the last time, but we even went out and got coupe classes just so it appears correctly on the show as it should.
And I don't. If you said it, I missed it. So the paper plane is a very easy thing. Do it by twos is easier. It's an ounce and a half of everything. Ounce and a half of bourbon, ounce and a half of Aperol, ounce and a half of your Amaro, and an ounce and a half of fresh. I'll reiterate, fresh lemon juice.
And the fresh makes really all the difference in the world.
And what that will give you is 2 coupe glasses. So that recipe gave us these 2 right here.
And it's a great drink.
It's refreshing.
I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, that looks a little, it's too pink, or the glass is a little too whatever. I don't care if it tastes good. It's great. If the glass adds a little bit to the ambiance of the moment, so be it. So again, I know one of these days I'll post our link on here. I have to reiterate my favorite guys over at the Whiskey Tribe. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like the way you like to drink it. And man, those are words to live by. But I need to come up with my own catchphrase. I'm not that sharp yet, but I'm working on it. But man, what a great cocktail.
You are a good spoon in the drawer.
Oh. Not sure what that means, but thank you, I think.
You're not the sharpest? Sorry.
Spoon in the drawer. All right. I had something else completely pictured in my head, and thank God that wasn't what you meant.
Yeah, you can't. I would not. We need to keep this the way it is.
Yeah.
I
So the wife's off camera. She doesn't want to be on camera. You enjoying it?
We forgot the sugar rim again, though. It's really good with the sugar rim.
So the recipe doesn't call for a sugar rim.
it is. Yeah.
It does?
No.
No.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah,
good point,
she
yeah.
makes a good point. We did it once with a sugared rim, and man, that was a nice addition. I think it was like a peach sugar or something. You guys, I think it was a flavored sugar. Maybe not. I think it was.
So I believe it's a lemon drop. They come in the tin for like a margarita, but what we use, what she's talking about is it was a lemon drop sugar rim,
Yeah.
whatever it was, and it just goes.
It was
I will have to admit,
Fits perfect with this cocktail.
Yeah, and-
yeah, that should be on the recipe.
now that one I would probably pass on myself, but yeah, if you want to make it for the ladies with the little sugar
What are you saying?
rim,
I enjoyed it.
okay. I digress. Whatever. It's delicious. Sugar rim, non-sugar rim. This is the combo.
Yeah.
You could not make a better paper plane than this.
And what a great cocktail for this time of year. If you
Yeah.
want to enjoy your whiskey, but you want a little,
It's not super sugary.
isn't that just a little
And the-
fruity and refreshing?
Right. Yeah, the Aperol. We've been experimenting with Aperol, but I think that's our third bottle in like 2 weeks. But that's not here nor there. It's just
We're sacrificing our liver for your entertainment. Is basically what he's saying.
Yeah. Aperol, I mean, it is, I
Nothing
guess,
much.
my new thing. It's just super peach, super.
Well, the spritzers. Once we discovered those, I'm sorry. I know that's again not a manly thing to say. Those things went down like freaking 7-Up. I mean, that was just better than that.
Yeah.
So that was really good. Maybe we'll visit that on another episode, but I doubt it because it's not a pretty far from the bourbon world, I'd say.
Now you never know.
Yeah,
You never know what's coming up next either. So
right?
now,
Like you
before
said,
we do that, I do have to give the correct name. Did not have it on camera last episode, but yes, we were talking about our go-to places that we wanted to see while we were down in our little bourbon land, and Southern Collective Spirit Company. So I wanted to give proper name out, and still a thank you to Jeremy on giving us that stop, I guess.
yeah, and they blend. I don't know if I can't remember if he said it was exclusively stag bourbons into one big deal or one unique thing that they finish in their own barrels. I know they finish it in their own barrels, but I know some of it was at least stag, and but I don't remember if it was all stag or not. But anyway, we were
We
gonna.
will report back on the
Yeah.
correct, because that is a
be-
stop.
There'll be some follow-ups. There'll be some reels while we're down there. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and we'll keep you informed on any and all updates.
Yes, sir. And
me?
you got a twitch in your eye. You got something up. So we're gonna pause this real quick and stay tuned.
All right. Well, what's going on? What happened?
And just like
Days
that,
have
we're
one
back.
too many paper planes.
Well, yeah. So there's a reel out, but yeah, it's 100,
It's hot. It's really hot,
and I'm
especially for Southern Oregon.
sorry.
That is the thinnest looking bourbon I've ever seen in my life.
It's White Dog. It's
White Dog.
It's White Dog.
It's English White Dog.
We're having a White Dog and tonic. So
British White Dog.
welcome to the other part of the show that I guess we didn't fully disclose with you guys. We drink other stuff, and we're not a stuffy bourbon show.
Bourbon exclusive?
Yeah. I'd like a black chick every now and then, or
I don't get the analogy, but I'm just gonna. You still have
drink-
some of your other. Look,
I will
he hasn't
keep
even
this-
finished his other drink. Do that together. I bet that's not bad, actually.
we drink other stuff. I'm sorry. This is not. We are not every other bourbon show. We drink other stuff, and we both share the. We like a gin and tonic, and I.
We've shared a fair share of refreshing, I would call summertime bourbon cocktails. And but yeah, like Dave says, it's not always about the bourbon. Mostly, it's about the bourbon. Obviously, the choice of Tanqueray is, the Walmart selective bourbons or of of gins. But yeah, I'm not nearly. I don't think either one of us is nearly as deep into the world of gin as we are bourbon. But that being said, we do enjoy a gin and tonic's a great, refreshing summertime drink, in my opinion. I call it. I have two seasons of my drinking life. That sounds unhealthy. I have a gin and tonic season, which is a summertime.
Normal and more? Or
Yeah. Well, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less. Boom, boom. But I don't drink anymore. Anyway, but no, bourbon traditionally, up until recently, has been a fall, winter, early spring drink for me. And then when summer gets into full swing and the temperatures are in the 90s or hundreds, then in the past I've switched to gin. This year, because of the podcast and things that we're carrying on, I've stayed with the bourbon, and we've made some really refreshing bourbon cocktails. And we're going to do a best of here in a few episodes, but a gin and tonic is a great cocktail too. So here we are.
yeah, and I'll compound on that because the Kentucky tea is just refreshing. If you make it per instructions and don't deviate from those, it's a refresher as well. Now, to go back to what you were saying before, so I had my first aviation gin last night. I'd much rather have the Bombay or a Tanqueray.
You had the aviation
I went with you down that road, and
or the aviator cocktail,
no,
the aviation gin.
right.
Okay, that's easy to.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. So we talk about a lot of stuff, but no, you were discussing we're neither one of us are in the gin like you said, but we both know our gins in general.
Right.
And I have not had aviation gin up until last night, and that was it's not on my high list.
Right. Okay. Good to know.
It's like flat Sprite ish.
Okay.
What'd you think of it?
I have not had aviation gin.
You
That's
had one
the
last
Ryan
night.
Reynolds stuff.
Boy, okay, so let me give
We'll
you an
have to
update,
revisit
buddy.
that when we're off camera here.
So we were at two establishments last night. At the second establishment,
Yes.
supposedly the aviation gin started.
Oh, is that what was in that?
Yeah.
No, that was just dirty water. I don't think they put any gin in that.
I sure paid for it. It was on my bill.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, so what
Well,
was your thoughts on that then?
It was terrible. Honestly, I can't even say I picked up notes on it. I knew it was a gin and tonic. I did not. Maybe I knew at the time. I don't know. It was a long day yesterday, not necessarily because of alcohol. I had an event that I was attending to that I was responsible for. Anyway, yeah, no, I got a gin and tonic. I took a sip of it. Thank you for buying it.
I don't know where.
There was no sparkle to the sparkling water. There was no gin to the gin. It was just like they dipped it in the rinse water in the sink and put a straw in it and gave it to me. It was terrible. Awful. Awful.
And I have to think because we've been there before. That's a known. I am fully comfortable with what they did there. I mean, if that was aviation gin, it was on the bottom of my list.
It's the worst gin I've ever had, including and I bought Seagram's gin way back years ago when I first wanted to make my first gin and tonic myself. And I made a gin and tonic at home with Seagram's, and I threw the drink down the drain, and then I tipped the bottle upside down in the sink and drained it down the drain too because it was that bad. This was worse. That was horrible last night.
I totally agree with you because Seagram's gin, I think they have what is it, a lime or a lemon gin. It makes a good gin and tonic.
At least it kind of tastes like gin.
Right.
That last night had zero hint of gin in it. What I don't know how to describe it any other way. It was
I don't.
awful.
Yeah. So the closest
So
I
Ryan
can,
Reynolds, stick with your cell phone company.
or Deadpool when
Yeah, or whatever. You'll make more money on either one.
so Wild. I would put that against Wild Roots only because there to me
No.
there's no. Okay, just hear me out here. It could be so Tanqueray is your classic gin and tonic for me.
Yeah, Tanqueray, or I like
And
Bombay Sapphire.
Bombay Sapphire. There's just if we're going bourbon like Narrow and Poppy.
Yeah.
And hear me out here. Tanqueray would be your Poppy.
All right.
The Wild Roots and the Aviation would be your Narrow.
But Wild Roost tastes good.
Right. That's right. But let's get the narrow, the wide out, and then we'll go Narrow because once you get down to Aviation and Wild Roots far
Tastes like gin.
far passes Aviation. I'm just saying.
There's a part of me that's really tempted to get. I love the guys where we at the second establishment. It's a local bar. It's right around the corner from us. Great people in there. I cannot, for the life of me, maybe grabbed vodka by accident. I don't know. I have to believe that Reynolds, it's a celebrity whiskey. I get it, but you would think if you're going to put your name on something, you're going to at least taste it once. And I was drinking Bombay Sapphire earlier in the evening.
Right.
And then we went to that.
We had
and
one
it
with dinner.
had
I'll give you.
no.
Call that dinner.
Yeah.
We drank our dinner.
That one last night had zero gin. There wasn't even a hint of gin flavor to it. There was no botanicals. There was nothing. It was just hot, dirty water.
I'll give you that one. I am not a fan. If that was a true Aviation and tonic, I guess I won't have another one.
No. Well, I think I'll try if our buddy's got Aviation down at his establishment. Might go over there and try it. See if he's got. It's probably below his.
Are you gonna do a shot of Aviation?
No, I'll do a tonic.
A neat.
No, I can't do gin straight. But that being said,
and this is delicious. So I did add a little bit of the fresh lime we had for the paper plane. I guess this is how it's connecting today.
that was lemon in the paper plane.
Sorry.
The lime's on the plate over here. That was a final garnish.
I'm not even feeling it yet. There's just once you open the door on cocktails and what you can, like the Aperol.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on. So sorry, I did add a little fresh lemon juice with a freshly squeezed lime.
It's really good.
It is really good.
When it's 100 degrees outside, and in the studio here, we don't have air conditioning. Hopefully you can't hear it. We do have a pedestal fan in the background.
We should
just to keep the sweat off my dome. So, for camera and aesthetics purposes, but it's hot.
It is hot. And sorry, I'll go to gin and tonic on a hot day.
So that being said, gin and tonics are fantastic. I have to revisit a few. So we did the Aperol Old Fashioned a couple episodes ago. That was really good.
Yes, sir.
The ginger or Kentucky tea, very refreshing cocktail.
Yes, sir.
And a paper plane, very, very refreshing cocktail.
I will up you on the Belmont Jewel.
Oh, and the Belmont Jewel. I knew I was forgetting one.
Oh.
So I think in another episode or two, I want to do the greatest hits. Might be a little bit painful for us by the end.
Are you doing like a Now That's Music, but for bourbon drinks?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Are you guys with us still? Now that's what I call a bourbon drink.
What I call bourbon.
Trademarked right now. Now that's what I call a bourbon drink.
I like it. I like it. So, yeah, I'd like to do a best of before, fall rolls into play and we're back to our more traditional drinking it straight up or.
Well, and it's hot for everybody. So yeah, if we do roll this out now, now's the time.
The whole country's hot. I mean, it's crazy.
I'll
We're in
give you that
Southern
one.
Oregon, and for us to be in 100 degree or close to it for a week plus, I mean, it's ridiculous. So,
You know what? I'm getting out of this heat. I'm gonna go somewhere a little cooler. I'm done with this heat. I'm going.
you're going to Cabo. Actually, when this comes out, you're in Cabo.
I can feel it now, everybody.
I don't think it's any cooler, I hate to tell you.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Well, okay. So let me break this to you. A low of 72 and a high of 85.
Oh, man.
So yes. Cooler.
Oh, some people's lives. Good for you. Anyway, yeah, and you'll be drinking probably neither whiskey or gin, but I'm thinking tequila at that point.
Yeah, the resorts do not have bourbon. I'm no, that green bottle is known everywhere. They do have gin, but yeah, whiskey is hard to hunt down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I figured it out when we were in Cancun. There's just not a huge whiskey following.
wild turkeys down there.
Yeah. Kudos to them for that. So, but anyway, yeah, just a little twist, something different, change of pace. We know it's nothing fancy or exceptional, but just a reminder that the whole world, this might be sacrilege to some of you, does not revolve around bourbon, but every now and then a nice refreshing gin and tonic isn't bad.
And I think that's where we're going with this whole the bourbon boys in general. Yes, we are. I'll give it. What do you want to call it? 80, 85,
90.
15, 90, 10?
Oh yeah, for me,
It's a mullet.
I'm all
so
about
we are the mullet of bourbon pages. We will do 90% bourbon.
well, let me clarify that because it's not just bourbon. So I like Scotch, I like Irish whiskey, I like bourbon, I don't care for Canadian whiskey. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry to you fellows up north, but
You'll leave Pendleton to the blanket then? Is what you're saying?
yeah, I'll leave it to Bob and Doug McKenzie. That's their stuff. So if you're as old as me, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're new to the bourbon world and you're a youngster, then you have no idea. But no, but I would like to. So I've got a fresh bottle of what I call my introductory scotch. And
Is it on there?
oh, it's way back there, top shelf. You guys figure it out, but it's up there. And so I think in a few episodes, I'm going to introduce that to the program. And
All right, so I'll ask him now. If you can figure out that red, it is in the box. Up on the middle, I call that mid top shelf.
yeah,
Name that tune.
yeah, and not just the distillery, but which
all they get.
which iteration it is from that distillery. But that's a great Scotch. It's a great way to introduce somebody to Scotch. And I'm also an Irish whiskey fan, and everybody instantly thinks of Jameson. Say Irish whiskey, everybody thinks Jameson. Well, there's more to it, or proper 12. Screw you, McGregor.
All right, so where's Tulladoo on there?
Tullamore
Yeah,
What
That
about?
is-
I like Tullamore Dew.
is that in the same?
It's thin, profile wise.
That's
but-
good in drinks though.
Oh, it is, but let's not put the keg in front of the tap. So to speak. We'll revisit that. Yeah. So once the weather starts to turn and gets a little cooler in that,
All right.
we'll jump back into some straight whiskeys of different sorts. Might not always be a bourbon, but it'll always be, or more, unless Dave drinks too much, then it's a gin. But other than that,
Wow.
right under the bus, you didn't even hear it start.
No.
But no, I agree with them. Gin's a great summer drink. But no, I've got some. We have ideas for the fall, and I would like to bust out and get. I know you're not a huge Scotch fan, and
Got
we
that
might
Johnny Walker Blue.
That might be on there. We might do a blue versus black blind tasting. How about that?
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so welcome to Klamtucky Bourbon Boys. We are, I won't even disclose a number. We are the mullet of bourbon pages because, yeah, we're going to do some weird stuff on here. This is what, 13?
Episode 13.
So
We're young. We're new. Well, the episode.
I'm
not young, but, you know, the podcast
I'm just saying
is.
12 in,
Yeah.
and
as in.
this is us.
Yeah.
So I hope you're with us, and
I hope you enjoy the program.
subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and tell us what direction you want to see it going. I mean, that's one of the joys of podcasting and YouTube in general is, you know, if you're watching a TV program and you don't like what they're doing on CBS or NBC or whatever, you have no input on that. We're pretty flexible. Let us
Yeah,
know.
and I won't divulge everything, but so I think the general consensus of yesterday was we found a new drink with a little captain in you.
and that's another summer one.
Well,
So who knows? Might have
sorry.
might have a little captain coming up shortly.
Join us.
Join us. It's a cocktail show. How about that? No, it's not. It's not a cocktail show. It's a spirits show. We are filled with the spirit.
I'm still going with the mullet.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Anyway, thank you, folks. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Please like.
Yes.
Please subscribe. Thank you for putting up with us. And please let us know what you would like to see next. And on
And
that note,
Yeah, well, I was just going to say we can be a little over the top, but I dare to say our cocktail recipes, once we finally nailed them on first part,
yeah.
are spot on. So
Well, and I'm not afraid to make mistakes in the process.
that's good entertainment.
It's good entertainment, and sometimes you may learn what you can or cannot substitute. Because still, according to our local lounge, the Amaro Montenegro that we use in the paper plane is close, but is not the epitome of the proper Amaro to use in that cocktail. That being said, using it ourselves, it's fantastic. So there are ways to learn or figure out, work around, I guess, recipes if you can't find the exact ingredients, and we're not going to be afraid to experiment for you.
There you go.
And on that note, thank you, folks. Stay
Thanks for
cool.
joining us.
It's hot out there.
Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, please.
And we will see you next week. Thank you.
What are we drinking next week?